who changed my life 180, and today on Easy Recipe Wednesday we will be creating French onion soup. For that we'll need cheese, wine, broth. The broth can be anything, it can be either beef, chicken or vegetable, it's up to you. Onion and obviously the bread baguette, and I have some leftover of bone marrow. And I'm gonna make it a nice sandwich for the French onion soup. So it's still here with a little bit of garlic. And we're gonna start with the onion, and it will be 3 individual portions. And here's the size of the portions that I will be using. For each one you need about 1 head of onion roughly. The way you pre-cut your onion, first you cut it in half. Then you cut it horizontally, not all the way, and then vertically. And now it will give you perfect little squares, ideally size for the French onion soup. So I picked this dish as an easy recipe. It's because I really like French onion soup. Originally I was living in Montreal, Quebec, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but over there French onion soup, it's almost in every restaurant as a starter. And I kind of fell in love with that dish, and it's delicious. It's very simple to do. Cheese, onion and bread. Also, if you guys have any ideas for easy recipes, please do leave comments down below, and I will try to replicate them, and I will try to make them. You can even throw me a challenge, because bear in mind I'm not a chef. I'm actually very novice in cooking, but I have an excellent teacher. So without the teacher I wouldn't be able to create those amazing dishes for you guys. So I have pre-cut the onion, and then I will throw it in the skillet pan, okay? And also, don't forget to subscribe and like that video if you like it, and also hit that bell button. Don't forget that. I'm gonna put some olive oil first. I'll let it heat up a bit. And now a little bit of butter. And we're gonna let it sit so it get that brown color. And we're gonna let it sit on medium heat and just let it fry it until it's gonna get that golden brown color. The perfect color for the French onion soup. Meanwhile that I'm waiting for the onion cooking, I will start prepping a little bit our bone marrow with garlic for our French baguette. The garlic, everyone knows what's happening to the garlic. It's not anymore a surprise. You just take it and you crush it, and then you take the second one, you just take it and you crush it, right? So, and it comes apart easy, like that, like that. Easy. Now we're gonna pre-cut our garlic for the bone marrow. The broth, the one that we have for this French onion soup, was made on bone marrow. So the broth itself is very fatty, and if you want it less fatty you can use chicken broth, and I know some people like vegetable broth. That's probably your thing. I'm not gonna judge. You know, those poor carrots are gonna get pulled out of their mother from the roots. It's very sad, so we have to be very understandable about those vegetable broth. It's a very sad moment, but well. So this is bone marrow with garlic. Now I'm gonna add a bit of pepper to the mix, and we're gonna add a bit of salt. I'm gonna mix it up. So it's slowly starting to get that golden color. I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer. It's almost there. Just wanna make sure every single part of the onion is golden. I forgot to mention, but you will have to probably add a bit of nutmeg if you want. salt and pepper. And now I'm gonna add a bit of wine, and we're gonna let it sit on the fryer. And we're gonna add wine until I will say stop. And I think this is enough of wine. That should be perfect amount of wine for our onion soup. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention, you can do it from red wine or you can do it from white wine. It's your choice. I'm doing it this time with red wine because our broth is made of beef. I think if we would have made our broth out of chicken, we would have probably went more likely with white wine. So in that perspective, if you like to eat poor vegetables, so you're gonna do the vegetable broth. I'm very sorry to hear that you like vegetables, but then you should probably use the white wine as well. You'll need probably about 2 pieces per portion for the bread. Also, like I said before, don't forget to subscribe. It will help me tremendously. If you like this kind of videos, I will be creating it every week. So don't forget to subscribe. I'm watching you. Yes, you, the one who's not subscribed. Yeah, you directly. So if you didn't subscribe yet, I'm judging you right now. This is my judgment look. I have about 800 milliliters of broth over here. You can see. I think it should be roughly sufficient for the 3 portions. If you will have a little bit of leftover, well, it's good for you. It's like, doesn't matter. You can have more or less, but that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add a bit of broth. Maybe a little bit less, I'm not gonna go all the way. So in this moment, now that we have added the broth, I increase the heat on my skillet, and now what we have to wait is for this to get boiling. And so we may have to make sure the onion is ready and soft. So you're gonna cook it mostly in the skillet. So let's get back to our baguette sandwich. I'm gonna get ready the cheese before we're gonna put the soup in the oven, and as well I will leave a little bit more cheese for the baguette sandwiches. So again, the amount of cheese, I can't tell you how much amount of cheese you want. It really depends on you. The amount, what kind of cheese you want to use for the onion. Again, I cannot really say because it's really up to you what kind of cheese you like. Some people like mozzarella, some people like cheddar, some people like more parmesan or other type. For me right now, I'm using a 10-year-old cheddar cheese, aged. So I love the strong flavor of the cheese, and that's why I'm going with that one. That's my personal preference. There is a million other choices that you can use. There's so many cheeses that you can go with. There's probably a classic way, but why do you want to go with the classic way? Do it the way you like it. I like a strong cheese, the cheddar one. So I'm going with a strong flavorful cheese because it gives that kick. And who doesn't like a kick in the cheese? When you're cooking, I think you should test sometimes. So all I want to do is test the onion, make sure the onion is soft enough. And still I'll have a little bit of a crunch. I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer on the fire because I still have that crunch. We don't want that crunch, we want it to be nice, gold and soft. So we're gonna let it sit for another few minutes. Okay, let's make our bread. You can see the bone marrow just sat here for about 5-10 minutes, and look how it's already start to have the texture. So we need to heat it up. So that's an interesting factor. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna add butter to the baguette because I think the bone marrow in this particular one is a little bit fatty enough, so we want to go a little bit more on a healthier side because we're going to add cheese. If there would be no cheese, probably I would throw more butter because, well, you can throw more butter because people like butter. Butter is amazingly delicious. And yeah, delicious food is always fat food. But on the other hand, if you're not gonna eat fatty food, I mean, you always will have a craving. So like I say, it's not the food that you eat, is the amount that you eat. So if you're gonna try to lose weight, don't eat a lot of it. Eat maybe half of that sandwich. Because if you think, why I'm making so many, because yes, the French onion soup my kids will not eat because there is a lot of onion, but the bone marrow with garlic with cheese on my previous easy recipe, when I've done cooked the previous video, the bone marrow, I went to wash my hands. I got back, there was nothing left. Nothing. I was like shocked. Like in about a minute, less than a minute, and 30 seconds, the whole thing was gone. So that's why we got more bone marrow. We'll add a little bit of cheese on top, not too much, just a little bit, that for that extra kick. Don't overdo it with cheese. Don't forget, that's not mozzarella, that's cheddar cheese. I'm gonna repeat myself, because mozzarella you need a lot to make it melty. Cheddar cheese, you mostly do it not for the melt part, it's for the strong flavor part. I want to toast a little bit the bread before we're gonna put it in the French onion soup. So I'm gonna add a tiny bit of olive oil. I'm still waiting on the French onion soup to be ready. I think we should let it boil for about 20 minutes because we really want our onion extremely soft. Right? So we're still waiting on it. Okay, so we're gonna take out our croutons. Now we're gonna assemble the soup. Okay, they are very hot, so when you do it, don't do it like me. Okay, so I'm gonna start dressing up our soup. That's one. You can spread the rest evenly. I'm gonna grab our sandwiches, throw it in the same pot, and now we're gonna dress up our soup. So you take 2 croutons per soup, and one more. And you add cheese on top. So that's one, that's the second, and that's the third. And I'm gonna spread out the rest evenly. So you're gonna put your oven for 500 Fahrenheit or broil option, depends whatever you have in your oven. And you're gonna put it for about 5 minutes in the oven, and we're gonna wait for it to become golden. Okay. I'm speechless. And here is my version of French onion soup with baguette, with bone marrow, and garlic and cheese. Yum. It's time to taste! Okay, let's try it. OMG. You know what? It's perfect. It's simply perfect. The strong flavor of cheddar, the softness of the onion, and it's just amazing. The home cooked broth, completely from bone marrow. It's like it's an explosion of taste. If you didn't figure it out, I'm a big foodie. I love gourmet food. So let's test the bone marrow on the French baguette. So good. You know what, I hate commenting this because I don't know what to say. It's so good. I just don't know what to say. Well then, that was Boris. I changed my life 180. That was a Wednesday easy recipe. And don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell button. And leave a comment down below if what you want me to create on my next videos. And I will see you next Wednesday with another easy recipe. Bye guys!